lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Kansas Speedway, tonight, the Outlaw Sim Series is ready to get it on right here in America's heartland. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth, where myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, my brother from another mother, Mr. Chris Murphy, are back for another exciting night of racing right here on Sim Racing Media and YouTube.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and of course, get yourself strapped in and ready to go, because we're ready for 140 laps around this exciting 1.5-mile oval. Chris, of course, we've got the band back together, and I can't wait to watch the green flag fly with you.
It feels like it's been forever since we've been together. Dave, I think it was feels like about a month ago, maybe a year ago, but last time we covered was also with the Outlaw Sim Series, Watkins Glen race. So really happy to be back with you tonight here at Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas Speedway, that is, one of these tracks that I get excited going to because it's low banked, it's fast paced. That tri-oval has all kinds of room to pass in. Stepping out of turn 4, it's not near as violent as through Charlotte Motor Speedway or Texas, but it still has a lot of excitement here. 105 degrees the track temperature during qualifying with about 2 minutes left in qualify. 82 degrees the outdoor ambient air temperature in the sim. And, overall, this place brings me a little bit of excitement. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in and welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Chris, I mean, these drivers that we get to see tonight, right now on top of the timing tower is Josh Fox. Bill Gay is going to sit in P2, as it looks like there are 4 drivers that have not qualified, including Merlin Duran, who didn't lay any time down during practice.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't come out at all for the show. So we got 20 cars, 20 car field here. So last couple of races with Outlaw Simster have been dominated by Joshua Ballet. We're going to see him continue this tonight. So last week at Indianapolis, started 14th in the field and made his way to the point to take home his second consecutive win. Matter of fact, when we were here at Watkins Glen with Outlaw Sim Series about 3 weeks ago, Joshua was leading that race as well, and just had a technical error with like 2 laps. It was leading the race by like 10 or 12 seconds, and was just right at the end just disconnected. So we'll see if he can come back on the night, back at the Joshua Ballet show. So Kansas, really interesting racetrack here. 1.5 mile track, high bank, 17 to 20 degree progressive banking. We're going to see a lot of drafting here. If you can find a partner who's going to help you kind of race like a super speedway. Really interesting. So I'm getting. So we're into the middle. We're into about the 12th race of the season here. I wasn't able to get the point standings here coming into tonight, but I'm guessing Ballet's got to be leading the points. Every time I see one of these races, he's out front somewhere.
Their points for this league are, I'm not saying confusing, but they're definitely hard to find. And I know that these guys do compete very heavily. As a matter of fact, speaking of competition, heat number 1 about to be underway as Josh Fox is going to sit on top of that pile, the iRacing.com pace truck that is. Just getting everybody settled in. Ben Park hops in. We're waiting on Josh Fox. And we'll get Heat 1 starting lineup for you right now. Josh Fox should be on the pole position. He'll be alongside Ben Park. Joshua Reese is going to be starting on the inside of row number 2 with Adam Gardner here in his number 56. And that, you know what, folks, we're going to go just a little bit closer here. I love this paint scheme. Little Scooby-Doo, where are you? If you see here on that back tailgate, what's in the bag? It says...
Isn't it supposed to be what's in the box? Isn't that the line?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But it's what's in the bag. If you take the time and you get a little bit closer to that paint scheme, you'll see why it's what's in the bag. But Matthew Setzer and Sheldon Swindell going to be in row 3, with row 4 being Joshua McClune and Devin Smith. Jeremiah Stutzman and Ben Henry going to be in row 5, and then holding down the back end of the field is going to be Merlin Duran and Vincent Cortez. And now Merlin Duran in the number 45 Precision Chevrolet Silverado saddles in here. So I guess he just wanted to hold us all in suspense. Wouldn't be the first time he did that for us.
There we go. Sorry, having a little trouble on my end with some technical difficulties as well. So let's see who can lead here. So we got 12 cars in this first heat race, or 12 trucks. I always say cars. I guess it really doesn't matter. 12 trucks will follow up in the second heat. Ben Park's been quick every time I've been in one of these Outlaw Sim races. But expect Gardner there in that 3rd or 4th. Where's he starting? 4th, to make his way up to the front, and we are going green with heat number 1. So Ben Park up there on the outside is going to have a good start on Josh Fox to see if he can carry that speed down into turn 1.
They stay side by side. This is going to be pretty exciting if they can keep it like this, nice and easy.
Yeah, smooth so far. Nobody really got a big advantage there on the start. We're 2 by 2, about 4 rows back, with Josh Fox and Ben Park now fighting it out here out in the front. So 6-lap heat race, kind of like just a little sprint race here. We'll see who can keep out to the front, see if we stay side by side. So good racing so far, good clean racing. So you see here at Kansas, we don't have any out of bounds, so there's no penalty for going off track. As you can see, Josh Fox way down there against the grass, way underneath that white line.
Yeah, you know, one of the things we're seeing here, and just as you say that it's kind of a little bit of a drafting track, we see the 56 Toyota Tundra of Adam Gardner. We were talking about him a little bit ago for his paint, but now we can talk about him for his skill. As even Josh Fox comes down to the apron, hugs that white line, and now slings it back up to the top of the racetrack. At a place like Kansas, once you're able to, first off, get a good push from your partner behind, obviously Joshua Reese right now, the pusher for Josh Fox. If you get a good push from behind and you can use all of that available asphalt, this place is going to hum for you.
Yeah, and it's all about just staying in the. Two different grooves here. A lot of times at Kansas, you'll see guys riding the top, like you said, and then the guys down on the bottom. And you can see right now they really prefer that bottom line down that front stretch, through that triangle. It's Joshua Reese tucks in behind Josh Fox right there. See if these two can kind of team up a little bit and get a little separation from behind him. But Ben Park and Adam Gardner just are not having any of it, and they're sticking right there with him.
Watching Adam Gardner here side by side with the 18 of Ben Park. Park nearly comes up and kisses that left door as they can just about hold hands coming into the tri-oval. They're going to cross the start-finish line. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Side by side in a battle for third position between Adam Gardner and Ben Park. Meanwhile, the lead pretty much secured by Josh Fox. He started there. He's staying there. Joshua Reese maybe trying to lay back and save something here with just 2 laps to go in heat number 1. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you here in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. If you're just tuning in, give us a thumbs up here on YouTube. And, of course, the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag's in the air. We're racing back to checkers. But also make sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for Sim Racing Media on YouTube.com.
You see Joshua Reese tried that outside line through 1 and 2 right there to see if he could get an advantage on Josh Fox. Josh Fox going to go back to the bottom here. Reese going to go to the top and see if he can have a run, but I don't think he's going to have enough coming off the corner. He did get a good run down off the hill. Looking to the outside at the line. It's going to be Josh Fox at the line holding on to that top spot. Adam Gardner goes around at the finish line, but he's going to end up back in 6th.
Yeah, final results here in heat number 1 before they disappear. Josh Fox, Joshua Reese, Ben Park, Joshua McClune, Matthew Setzer. That's going to be your top 5. In fact, we can pull up those results here because they, of course, disappear faster than the eye can see. Gardner finishes in 6th with Sheldon Swindell, Devin Smith, Ben Henry, Vincent Cortez, Jeremiah Stutzman, and Merlin Duran holding down the rear. Speaking of holding down the rear, here is William Gay. The Hobgood, North Carolina driver with the number 75. This is a name that is new to this league, at least to me. William Gay is going to be on the front row with Andrew St. Cour, one of our neighbors from the north out of Alder Point, Nova Scotia. I guess he can't wait for October when hockey drops the puck officially. Then Jamestown, Indiana's Dan Park going to be alongside Kyle Lingerfeld out of Horseheads. Matthew Byer is going to be starting in 5th position with Anthony Hamilton, Jonathan Byer, Forrest Hamilton out of Breckenridge, Texas. Breckenridge, Texas. You ever been there?
I'm sure I've probably been through there. I've been through a lot of places in Texas, but I could not say specifically if I've been to Breckenridge. Is there a ski? Isn't there a ski lodge in Breckenridge, or is that?
I have no idea. Never been. Never been. Did you ever watch? You ever watch the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson?
Yes, one of my favorite late shows.
Hey Jeff, you ever been there to New Orleans? No, I've never been to New Orleans. That's where I was going. We're gonna work on our material, folks. Don't you worry. 6 laps to go.
Yeah,
I guess I should have prepped you to let you know that I have a problem.
Well, I've worked with you about 3 times now, and actually I don't need you to tell me you have a problem.
It just comes on my name tag.
Yeah, I'm just.
It's all right. Some of the people at this company would say that I am the problem, but they can't get rid of me because I'm just that much fun. Speaking of fun, the iRacing.com pace truck peels on down pit road. William Gay takes the green flag and a bump from the 3 machine. And off we go. There he is, Dan Park in the 3. There was all kinds of pushing. We're going to go widen things out to the blimp cam. Brandon Combs drops out of the line of fire, if you will. Meanwhile, there's 10 other trucks now vying for that first position. The 75 of William Gay about to be gobbled up by the 3 if he doesn't throw the block, and he does. Gay going to lead the way with Andrew St. Cyr in the 12, running in P2 in his Ford F-150. A Chevrolet and a Ford leading the pack as it should be, with Kyle Lingerfeld being the first Toyota in line back in 5th. Have you heard the news about the upcoming truck season?
Have not. Oh, we got somebody down to the inside against in the wall there, down at the bottom.
Wasn't me. I'm going to guess that's Jonathan Byer back here.
It was Jonathan Byer in the 13 truck. Hard contact with the inside wall.
Let's see what happened there. We've got a few seconds to check this out. Oof. Oh, nearly rolled it, but brought it back down on all fours. That's a Toyota for you. It's like a cat. 9 lives and always lands on its feet. Matthew Byers lays fast time down at 30.59 seconds. As we've got 4 laps to go, as I was starting to say in the real-life truck series, have you heard the news? It's happening. This is not a drill.
I have not.
Ram is coming to the Craftsman Truck Series. I don't know who's going to be the first driver to represent Ram, but whoever it is my new favorite Truck Series driver.
Well, wasn't Dodge the very first truck when they started the Truck Series back in the 90s at some point?
Yeah. No, actually, that was Chevrolet.
Was it? I thought Dodge was right there with them.
No, Dodge didn't come into the Truck Series until 2000-ish. But it was pretty much Chevrolet and Ford for a very long time.
I really should pay attention.
It's fine. 2 laps to go. Speaking of paying attention, Dan Park just took over the race lead. We're going to take a look here. I'm going to run this back, and we're going to see how he got the race lead, as now the 75 goes to haul it underneath. Watch the 3. Now, he had just set himself up. This is how you pass at Kansas. You loosen up the driver in front of you, and around you go. And now with just less than a lap to go, the white flag is in the air. We go back live here. And William Gay has taken the lead back. They roll out of turn 2 and down the back chute. Park is only going to have one more chance as he looks to the outside. He's going to need a heck of a push from the 7. That's Joshua Ballier following him. Door handle to door handle go the 75 and the 3 coming out of turn 4.
I think Park's going to get a run on this outside. He's going to beat him the line right here.
Oh, no, he didn't.
It's a dead heat on my screen.
My goodness.
According to my timing, it shows a tie.
Well, I can't look now.
And we're gone. So my result showed Park getting the win right there, but it also showed 0 interval. So
let's check and see what Heat 2's results were. William Gay gets it, and it says that Park was down by nearly 2/10 of a second. That's oh, no, wait. No, he was a dead heat. Park was a dead heat. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
That's all right. So who did they give the win to? Who's going to start outside the front row?
It's going to be William Gay. And we're going to get a chance to look at that starting lineup right now. All the drivers climbing into their race trucks. Let's take a peek here. Josh Fox going to sit on the pole position with William Gay to his outside in row number 1. Row 2 going to feature Joshua Reese and Dan Park, who just barely missed out being on the front row in that second heat. Ben Park going to be in 5th position with Joshua Ballier in 6th, Joshua McClune and Andrew St. Cyr starting in 7th and 8th. Starting in 9th and rounding out your starting top 10 is Matthew Stetzer and Matthew Byers, with Adam Gardner and Kyle Lingerfeld starting 11th and 12th. Back in row 7 going to be Sheldon Swindell and Forrest Hamilton Jr., with Devin Smith and Aiden Giordano holding things together in row number 8. Row 9 is Ben Henry and Anthony Hamilton, with Vincent Cortez and Brandon Combs in row 20. And rounding out your field tonight, way back here in 21st, 22nd, and 23rd is Jeremiah Stutzman. Jonathan Byer and shotgun on the field belongs to Merlin Duran. 140 laps, the scheduled distance. as the iRacing.com pace truck brings us into turn 3. I'll tell you what, man, I can't wait to say it because it's happening. This is not a drill. 140 laps scheduled for here at Kansas. The iRacing.com pace truck peels on down pit road, and you know how we do it, folks. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, and off we go at Kansas.
Josh Fox with a good start right there. He's going to jump on Joshua Reese. He's going to take that top spot right now. Joshua Reese is going to fall right there behind him in second. Ben Park and Dan Park side by side right now for third. As we are 2 by 2 for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth right now. And 75 of William Gay, who finished really good in his heat race, is now falling back a little bit. Already down 5 spots. Horrible start. Started outside the front row in second, all the way back to 7th.
It's a good start so far. Most of these drivers have been racing together all year long, and they're doing a heck of a job getting through this piece. As we work here on lap number 2, scored our leader is Josh Fox. He dominated heat number 1 and now is starting to step away from the field, but don't look now. Let's watch the 3. Now, Dan Park has got to have a little bit of an axe to grind. Just a slight one after just barely losing out in his heat race.
He's got advantage over it now. He's holding that third position while William Gay, who was awarded that win on that tie, is falling back another position, back to 8th right now. So, the conditions of this track right now, the sun's starting to set, and you can see as they're coming down the straightaway that sun's in your eyes a little bit. Track temperature down to 82 degrees, so we should have quite a bit of grip. I don't think we're going to see as much tire wear as we would normally see, but that transition from light to dark in and out of the shade here has got to be tough inside these trucks.
Yeah, especially at this stage in the race, once that sun finally dips below the hills, well, I say hills, but dips below the walls of the racetrack. We're out in Kansas, there are no hills, but we can see that right here as we go on board with Dan Park out of Jamestown, Indiana, one of our hometown heroes last week. Look at that sun just glaring in. Now, this is just the camera angle on top of the truck. Let's take a look and see if we can go to his helmet cam. As we go to Dan Park's helmet cam, we can see he's got this thing laid wide open. He takes over the race lead for the time being. He's gained 3 spots. And watch this shadow. First, there's a shadow that's creeping across his arms on the dashboard. And when he comes into turn 3 and makes the rotation into 4, he's almost going to be blind.
Yeah, that is so tough as a driver going in and out of the shadows like that. The track color changes on you, so it's really tough to see where you're on the racetrack. And just, you think, I don't know, can we do an iRacing? Can you do like a shielded visor like we can do in real life?
Unfortunately, no. No.
Maybe put some on your monitor.
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. Maybe. That would be something to try.
I'm sure somebody's tried it out there.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that are hooking up Arduino boards to servo fan motors to simulate wind.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I know a guy.
Oh, that sounds personal.
Yeah.
Is that on your personal sim rig?
No, not me. I know a guy who that was about to be his next move and had it hooked up and it was working.
Oh, wow.
Things starting
Joshua
to get...
McClune right there. Yeah, Joshua McClune right there made a move underneath Joshua Ballet for that 5th spot. He looks to be on the charge. I don't think he's done yet. He's looking to move up one more spot up around Ben Park as well.
The number 7 Wounded Warrior Project Chevrolet Silverado works just underneath. Oh! Makes contact with the 6. That's going to loosen him up. He's going to hook him. Can they? Oh, nope. This is going to cause the caution to come out.
And Ballet is going to save it.
But not in time as now we collect the rest of the field. Good gravy.
Yeah, the six truck of McClune and Ballet got together right there, and then they just couldn't get off each other. They were just stuck. I thought Ballet was going to save it. I think McClune ended up getting the worst of it. Piled up a couple more trucks in the meantime.
Here we go to the replay booth. as we're first going to take a look from here in the blimp. Now, we were watching this live. This is exactly what you just saw a moment ago. Just a bump, bump, boom. Now, the 75 kind of scampers away here with no problem. But this right here, talk about, wrong place at the wrong time. The 99 of Forrest Hamilton has got to be angrier than a hornet. Because he didn't ask for any of this.
It's always a shame when you're just kind of driving along trying to stay out of trouble and you get involved in somebody else's problem.
I'd say maybe to repair some of the damage on this race truck, he's going to have to sell some more feet pictures on OnlyFans. And he just barely got clipped, and it just sent him spinning and then up into the wall. It wouldn't have been too badly damaged until he gets upended.
We got just about the entire field going to take advantage. Just come down into the pits to get some new tires on. Top these trucks off with fuel. Only 4 trucks staying out right there. Josh Fox, Ben Park, St. Gore, and Jonathan Byer staying out on the racetrack.
Well, you don't blame him.
Yeah, it is early. I mean, we're only only 9 laps into this race. I don't know what the fuel mileage is going to be. We always seem to try to guess that, and we always miss it anyway. So, but I'm thinking maybe at least 40 to 45 laps, if not for green flag runs, would be my guess.
And, of course, somewhere we missed that. Ah, there they are. Just a little bit of pandemonium, if you will. We're going to see if we can watch that from the digger cam solely, because that was impressive. I remember being a young fella when when Fox came out with the digger cam.
Yeah.
And that was like such next level stuff that these guys could literally drive over the camera.
Yeah. It is always kind of cool when they did the crank it up and they get the digger cam and then follow the trucks around, or follow the cars around from corner to corner.
Well, that's gonna make some of these guys have to rethink their strategies. That's for sure. Burn a fast repair early on.
I still don't know how they actually drive over the camera. So.
So I was a nosy Nelly, and Emily Arias and I, when she was one of our team members here at Sim Racing Media, we had the chance to walk up on the racetrack when we were in Miami 2 years ago. And, we walked to the end of pit road. Nobody stopped us, so we came around the end of pit road. And I was standing on the paint that's on the front stretch at Homestead, Miami. And I was looking for it. And I know that it was there. I saw the camera shots on TV. Could not find the camera. That's how tiny it was. Yep.
It's amazing what you can do when you go to racetracks or stadiums or whatever. If you just act a little confident, you can just kind of go wherever you want. Nobody stops you.
Oh, John, listen, our boss man, Jonathan Leach, he and I were within inches of Dale Jr., and we didn't even have passes for we didn't have pit passes for the Xfinity race. We did for the truck race. As the green flag flies, Josh Fox going to take the green flag. But John and his then girlfriend and I were down on pit road, and her name also happened to be Emily, but not Emily Arias. But anyway, but John and Emily and I were down on pit road, and we were just like, you know what, just go until they tell us don't. Go until they tell us no more. And I was the next person in line to get an autograph from Dale Jr. when it was time for the invocation.
Yeah.
And the PR people all came and pushed everybody away. I would have been the next person. The guy right in front of me had a beat-up old Wrangler hat from, the 80s, the blue and yellow. And he holds this dirty-looking, nasty hat out and goes, "Hey, Dale, this is my daily." And Junior looks over at it, and he sees it. You can see that he made like an emotional connection with it because not too many people are wandering around wearing that particular hat as their daily.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Give it here," and he pushes the PR guy off to the side and signed this guy's hat. And I thought, you know what, I think that's what makes our sport that much better, because the access that you have to the athletes in NASCAR, so much better than what you get in other sports. as
Oh,
the
for
94 of Matthew Byers is ready to challenge Josh Fox for the lead. He decided he wants to take these fresh tires out for a spin because Josh Fox, Andrew St. Court, Jonathan Byer, and Ben Park opted not to come down pit road.
Yeah, Byers have been on a charge since that green flag drop. Like you said, first truck out there on new tires, and he's charging through the field right now. And he goes right to the outside of Josh Fox. I think we're just going to just drive past him here as they head down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Byers is going to make his way to the point. Fox are getting a little bit loose somehow, getting in the corner right there. He does a good job of saving it, but he's going to hold on to second right now. So right now, Byers is the only one taking advantage, only one so far that took advantage of those new tires has been able to charge to the front. Devin Smith back there in 6th place also took on tires, but he's kind of mired back there behind Ben Park right now.
Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and, of course, checking us out here on YouTube.com. Matthew Byers takes over the race lead from our longtime leader and pole sitter, Josh Fox, who now takes the deuce and puts it in that P2 position. Deeper back in the field, Kyle Lingerfelt in kind of a hornet's nest, if you will, as now he gets the 65 tucked in behind the 3 of Dan Park. Now he's kind of in a nice little 365-1 line with Joshua Reese holding down the rear of this as we take a look on board now with Joshua Reese. And the Mount Juliet native is going to watch Kyle Lingerfelt peek to the inside now of the 3, and Dan Park just says, go on by, pal. He doesn't want to fight this early. He doesn't want to be the cause of anything wild this early in the race. And quite frankly, I think that that's one of the things that sets the Outlaw Sim Series apart from other racing leagues that we see. These guys are more than willing to say, you know what, you go ahead. I'm going to come back and make you eat your teeth in about 10 laps.
Yeah, I mean, not to sound too cliche, but the old saying is, you know, if you want to finish first you got to finish. And these guys demonstrate that every week. You just got to give and take sometimes. You know, if you want to have a friend out there at the end of the race, you've got to give some a little bit early on. And, you know, and just hope that guy's going to give back to you later. But, you know, we know when it gets down to the last few laps, guys are going to push no matter who's there with them. It's their brother, their mother, or if there's money on the line, there's a win on the line, they're going to do what they have to do. But right now they're just being patient, being smart, and not doing anything too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't win it on lap 19, but you can certainly lose it on lap 1, that's for sure. As we work here on lap number 19 at Kansas Speedway, Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As we've gotten the band back together, and you know, everybody here at SRM knows that I've put Chris in a state of dibs, if you will. And
that hasn't worked. Yeah, that hasn't worked out very well. I mean, like, this has been the first time we've been working together in like the last 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm not sure, you know, just how much water that bucket holds.
Yeah, well, you know, first of all, it's your availability and mine that you know, are contingent on all of this. And
yeah,
quite frankly, there's 3,000 miles between Pennsylvania and the West Coast.
This is true. It's a long travel.
I mean, it's 5:30 out there, and, you know, obviously the sun just thinking about taking a nap. I can already see the moon out my window. By the way, every time I see what stage the moon is in, it says it's waxing this or waxing that. Why? Why waxing?
I have never seen that term before. Does it wax poetically?
I've wondered if it waxes poetic. Maybe it's a little nostalgic, if you will. As we take a look here, watch this battle. Watch the 4 now of Anthony Hamilton looking to the inside of Ben Park. Ben Park holds his high line just in front of the 75 of William Gay, our our front row outside sitter. So I guess basically our outside pole sitter. Oh, that's going to be contact between the 65 and the 13 of Jonathan Byer, now sliding back through the field. That could have been bad, but it was a very graceful bump, if you will.
Yeah, and what you're seeing here is you're seeing these trucks on the old tires. Jonathan Byer had moved up about 18 spots at one point, was up to 3rd, but is now falling back through here on these old tires. And these trucks with these new tires coming through here. So he's got to keep his eye on the mirror just to make sure he doesn't get run over. And at the same time, these guys coming up on him can see that he's a little off the pace. So they've got to make a move a little bit sooner or they're just going to run right over him.
Joshua Reese now underneath the 13 of Jonathan Byer is Reese on fresh tires. He came in on lap number 9. I say fresh, but now They're about 15 laps old, which if we look at some of these pit strategies, there's only 2 drivers that are really holding on right now, and it's 8th position Ben Park and 2nd position Josh Fox, now 3rd, where these drivers are both holding their ground for the time being. But as we just saw, Josh Fox now slid into 3rd position as he gets passed by the 5 of Matthew Setzer as we work here on lap number 25. I would say, knowing these guys and knowing this league the way that I do, we're going to see them try to stretch us into maybe a 3-stop race. You definitely can't do this race in 2, but I think 3 is doable.
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to say, I'm really impressed with Josh Fox. He's up on his older tires. Now, yeah, he's only 9 lap different tires, 9 laps difference between the sets of tires, but it's still a pretty big difference out there, and he's been doing a really good job staying up there in the top 3. But Byers has checked out. He's almost 3 seconds now, 2.5 seconds in front of Matthew Setzer and Josh Fox are back there battling for 2nd. But Setzer's starting to put a little separation on Josh Fox as well, a couple truck lanes there.
As drivers make their way around this place. We start to see maybe some of that cream rise to the top. But overall, I think we're going to see most of these guys settle in, get into a groove, and they can start picking each other off one at a time. Matthew Byers has opened up a now almost 5-second lead over Matthew Setzer. So it's the Matt and Matt show in P1 and 2, but then just a half second from Setzer back to Fox.
Yeah, looking back just a little bit further, Joshua Ballet, who was involved in that first caution that we had earlier, has worked his way back up into 6 in that 7 truck. And as we pointed out at the start of the show, Joshua won the last 2 races here for the Outlaw Sim Series and really should have won the last 3 if he didn't have a technical error. But would not be surprised at all to see him get out here to the point here real soon, as he's making his way back through the field.
Yeah, making his way back through the field. It's a long recovery drive. Speaking of which, Andrew St. Cour has lost 5 positions now. He runs in 13th. He's one of our bigger position losers for the time being. Joshua McClune, of course, back in 21st, he was involved in that earlier wreck. But Dan Park, actually McClune is not on the track. He has decided to hang it up for the night. He figured now is a good time to beat everybody to the beer stand.
Good time to go when there's action on the racetrack. Go to the beer stand.
You know what? Now, I tell the story all the time. I was down at Dover with a friend of mine 2 seasons ago. We were there 3 years ago for the Xfinity Series. And beer, now mind you, I'm a Yuengling connoisseur, but they had Busch available everywhere. Which when I saw that much Busch, I wasn't sure if I was in a 70s lesbian porno or if I was in Dover. But regardless, the Busch beer was $5 a can, or I could have a lemonade for $7.50. So I did the math. For every 2 beers that I drank, I saved $5, which is enough to buy another beer.
You did that math all by yourself.
I did. So I figured that for all of the and of course, every time I got up out of the seat to go grab another one, I missed something on the track. I would go down, I would hear tires screeching, and the caution would be out. Terrible.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works out, right? As soon as you walk away, this is boring, there's nothing going on. As soon as you walk away is when all hell breaks loose.
Well, I didn't want to. Hey, there's Dragon Zeron checking in. I've been good, Dragon. Glad to see you. He's one of our viewers back during the SNN days. Glad to see him. And his team has not been good. No, it has not. But anyway, so needless to say, I determined at that point that I was just going to not care anymore that I was missing things and just take my chances. Also, that was the first time that I was ever sitting in the grandstand for any sporting event and had what looked to be a 75-year-old woman light up a pack of Newports in her seat. She wasn't about to get up and be inconvenienced by smoking laws.
Well, for me, I remember when there was no smoking laws, so.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't have been that unusual to me, but
I miss those aluminum foil ashtrays from McDonald's. They didn't do
I still have,
anything for your cigarettes.
yeah, I still have a collection. I hoard everything.
You hoard, you hoard McDonald's ashtrays? That's fantastic. I swear, if you're serious, I love it.
Well, I'm not going to admit one way or the other.
Great. Now it's like watching Law & Order SVU. Do they or don't they?
That show doesn't really leave. There's really no question there, is there? It's usually just kind of like, here's everything.
Yeah. It's always the second person they interviewed that had a cloudy idea of what happened the night before.
Exactly.
And I always find it interesting that in that show, they talk to a bartender in, let's just say Soho in New York. And they say, gee, yeah, it was a really busy night last night. And they're like, do you recognize this person? And all of a sudden they're like, why, yes, she was sitting in the corner of the bar, third seat from the end, and she was drinking vodka and peach tea. And her name may have been Madeline, but it also could have been Mahogany. I'm not really quite clear. But she definitely left at 9:03 p.m. I remember because I was shaking off in the bathroom at the urinal.
And as you were reflecting on that, Joshua Ballet made up 2 spots in one corner, getting around William Gay and Kyle Lingerfeld to move back up to 4th. We were talking about Ballet earlier, making his way back through the field, and he has come in a hurry right now. So Josh Fox is about to be his next victim here for 3rd.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the replay here of Joshua Ballier and his number 7 Wounded Warrior project. Watch him around the 65 and the 28. The 65 and the 28 got kind of close, and literally the 65 of Kyle Lingerfeld just got out of his way. He wasn't about to sit there and fight here on lap number 37. That does put us just about a little past a quarter of the way through this race.
Yeah, 30. I still am really impressed with Josh Fox, still holding on to that 3rd right there, even with Ballet right there behind him. Still on the original set of tires he started this race on, 38 laps on those tires, and he is hanging on right there in the top 3. So he may have an advantage here. If this thing keeps going green, he's going to come down and take on fresh tires, and I think we'll see him charge back through the field as Ballet now looks to his inside, and he is going to take that 3rd spot away. Fox is just going to kind of relinquish it to him, just move back and say, okay, it's all yours. I'm going to come back and see you later on.
Yeah, Josh Fox is I won't get you right now, but I will get you shortly. And I'm not mad at it. That's a good driver right there. That's getting it done. 40 laps about to be in the books here as they work their way down the back chute and into turn 3. Matthew Byers now out 3.5 seconds over Setzer. And you got to remember now, we're at a point looking at these pit lengths. He's 29 laps, so now 30 laps. Obviously, a long way past what that first stop did. And remember, we're in a fixed setup. So overall, these drivers can't do anything but make those creature comfort changes. The one that's sticking out, can you figure out which one it is? It's Josh Fox running in P4. 39 laps on those tires, and he's not ready to give up just yet.
Now, Josh is going to show us just what this fuel window is. If we keep going green here for the next 5-10 laps, and as we say that, here he comes right now down into pit road, drops down the bottom off of turn number 4, and he's going to come down and take on some fuel, so it looks like about 40 to 41 laps. And the 13 truck of Jonathan Byers tries to follow him in there, but he kind of loses it, saves it just in time, keeps it off the grass. So right now, John Fox and Jonathan Byers coming down pit road.
We're going to take a look here and see. Yeah, he smoked that right rear coming in, got it sideways, but kept it pointed forward. Hey. Talk about a lucky break. Josh Fox going to come down for his first break of the race as Fox just finishing that service. The left side drops down and off he goes. So, you talk about the fact that it's about 40, 41 laps, worth of fuel. We got to figure that a few of those laps were under caution, so they can probably get about 35. That could make this into a 4-stop race because they only run with, I think, 65% fuel load.
Yeah, if we stay green for long periods of time, I think you're right. We're going to look at least 2 or 3 more stops, probably 3, like you said. So these trucks that came in, and maybe that 9 laps when they come in and took on some fuel and tires on that first caution at 9 laps, maybe that made a difference where they only have to make 2 more. We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But right now, Bayer is still stretching that lead out over 4 seconds now, out in front.
William Gay back here in the 75, creeping up now on the rear of the 65. Gay wants to get up there and see if he can maybe affect a pass as he looks down to the apron here on the asphalt as he dips below the white line. Scares what appeared to be the bejesus out of the 65 of Kyle Lingerfeld. Hey. Lingerfeld almost just flinched there for no reason. Dan Parks down pit road.
Seeing everybody coming in now. And Dan actually came in on lap 9, so he's coming in a little bit early here. I think the rest of the trucks out in front that have all pitted once already.
But I wonder if he wants to be on their pit strategy, not, the guys who came down early. I think coming down on lap 9, let's just assume that they were down for fuel and tires. You didn't get any heat in those tires. So I assume they must have had to only come down for fuel. And the way that these times are kind of petering out, very gracefully, there's Matthew Byers. He's going to make the dump, and that's going to leave Setzer out to lead for the time being.
And look who's right there behind him in second, that 7 truck of Joshua Ballet, and he's reeled him in here. Look the eyeball test about 1 to 2 truck lengths back right now. I think Ballet is going to probably get to the point here even before Setzer dives down into the pits as they're coming down the back straightaway. Ballet going to take a look into 3 here, just not close enough to make a move. But I would expect within a lap here, if he doesn't come into the pits, I think we're going to see Ballet get around Setzer here to the point.
Well, now I'm just looking here at Byers' time now at 41 and 42. He was getting a little, he lost all but 0.02 of a second from 41 to 43, and then almost a full second on 32. So, obviously these guys are starting to see that it's time to come down. Now we see those guys who came in on lap number 9. Let's take a look at Joshua Ballier. We were just mentioning him. His lap times, 32.213, 32.251, 263, 268, and so on. So he's going to have to eventually come in. That leads me to believe that he's definitely one of those drivers that wanted to hold on to this. But my goodness.
He has made his way to the lead here. As we predicted, they're going into turn number 3. Ballet able to get up underneath Matthew Setzer to take the lead. Setzer now back into second. And William Gay, who we saw earlier start outside the front row, had fallen back through the field, has now made his way back up into the podium spots in third. And here comes Ballet down in the pits right now.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Now we're going to compare him to Hamilton. And of course, Hamilton, well, that's not going to really work out now, is it? Because, of course, now we've got to wait until we can get everybody back out on the racetrack. But Ballier, Hamilton, Cortez, and Duran, they all come down. Duran with a little bit of smoke coming out of the left rear of the 45. Now with Setzer, Gay, Lingerfeld, Reese, Smith, and Stutzman, your top 6. That's going to allow all those other just kidding. They're going to come down now.
Top 5 all dive down into the pits. Stutzman also coming in, so top 6 all diving down into the pits right now. So we're going to have everybody pitted except for the Josh Fox is going to, by the time this cycles through, he's going to find his way back to the lead, having made only 1 stop so far, back about 10 laps ago.
Yeah, that obviously saves him a lot of time not having come down earlier. And, I mean, sometimes you just got to trust the process. And, again, that's what makes drivers like Josh Fox great. That's what separates the good from the great.
Well, the undercut here at Kansas is pretty strong. So if he came in, took some tires on about 5 laps sooner than everybody, he has been out there running, 2 or 3/10 of a second lap faster at least than everybody else out there. So he's made up a lot of ground there. I think we're going to see him with a couple second lead when it cycles through.
Without a doubt, 50 laps in the books. That's the story of the night right now. 1 caution so far here in the Outlaw Sim Series truck race at Kansas Speedway. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to thank everybody for tuning in over here on YouTube.com. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. And, of course, one of the things that, although that it's hotter than blazes here on the East Coast, sometimes you need to think cool. Watch the 94 of Matt Byers creeping up on Josh Fox. And
Byers
he's
looking
going
to
to
the
waste no
outside.
time at all getting around and taking the lead.
Now those fresh tires, Byers just now coming out of the pits just a couple of laps ago. About 5 lap fresher tires, and Josh Fox makes that outside work down the front straightaway through 1 and 2 right here, and Byers is going to have the lead as he comes off the turn 2 down the back straightaway.
While all that's going on, Ballier here in the 7 just laid down fast time. Just kidding, it now goes to Devin Smith at 30.5 flat. My God. Talk about boogieing around this place.
That's about a tenth or two faster than anybody else has turned the entire race so far. So nice lap there from Devin.
That's 3/10 of a second faster than Matthew Byers. My goodness.
Went back through the field here. Valley come back out into fifth spot after having the lead when he pitted. Let's see if he can make his way back up to the front. He is about 7 seconds off the leader right now. Matthew Byers setting a blistering pace out there. Once he got around Josh Fox, he just kind of left him in the dust. He's got about 10 to 12 truck lengths back to Fox now. So Byers really comfortable out there in the lead, clean air, and just plowing forward.
Now I'm looking here. I'm waiting to see if I can find where that just disappeared to. Look at these lap times that William Gay's starting to run compared to our race leader, Matthew Byers. Now, Byers up here just laid down a 31.039. Gay is almost, and we're waiting for him to come across the line, but Gay was almost 2/10 of a second faster. He's starting to quietly creep up through this piece. I'm just starting to get curious. I think that we're finally getting to the point in this race where, we're watching Josh Fox's times fall off, and there are other guys that are just finding their way around the racetrack a little bit better. As it looks like Gay had fast time on 52, and now he's pretty much fallen off way too fast.
Maybe a little drafting lap, right? Going down the back straightaway, got a little help from somebody. I like that 75 truck. It almost looks like a throwback to an old Larry Phillips paint scheme. Dirt racing reference, sorry. I'm looking up just a little bit further there, Dave, and Joshua Bally finds his way around Ben Park. Ben Park came in and pitted back on lap 39, so his tire's about 9 laps older as Bally now makes his way back to third.
If you look here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen at home, folks, it looks like there's Emily Arias checking in. Hi, Emily. As looks like Gay is just barely starting to beat this thing out. I mean, every lap he's getting faster and faster. We can start to see that time delta shrinking. I'm curious if Gay has just found a better way around.
Looks like let's take a look at a lap here and see where he's running at. Up that traditional. I feel like he's kind of running that top line there where a lot of trucks are going down to the bottom. You can see Gay. He is going to be one of the first trucks that are going to run that top line through 3 and 4. And dives all the way down to the bottom through the trioval. Let's see where he goes into 1 and 2 right here. Let's see if he goes back to the top, and it looks like he's going to do that. So I think you hit the nail on the head right there, Dave. William Gay has found a little bit different groove around here. He's running that top line to see if the tires hold up better for him up there, or if he can keep that pace up. Because one little mistake, and as I say that, he catches the wall right there entering turn 3. Going to lose a little bit of pace there. I think if it kind of reels him back in, but kind of fun to watch these races when you got two different grooves right there, and William Gay's showing us that top line where everybody else is down on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point right now where, at least what I'm watching, these drivers are going to have to start, really, if they want to try to start reeling people in, they're going to have to start, finding a better groove. They're going to have to look at drivers like, the 75. They're going to have to find drivers like the 1.
Yeah, even if you can be a little bit quicker than somebody, when you catch them, you got to go where they ain't, as they used to say. So if you're going to make a move on somebody, you got to find a little bit different line. But we'll see if William Gay now he's moved up to 8 spot. See if he can keep charging through the field here. If he's still running that top line, I'll take a quick look at him, or he's back down to the bottom. So Byers has just ran off and hid right now from Josh Fox, over 4-second lead. And that 94 Chevrolet, the number 94 Chevrolet. It's not a 1994 Chevrolet, but just want to be clear on that. Those Byers, Fox, Balliet, Ben Park, Joshua Reese, Matthew Setzer, Dan Park in 7th, William Gay 8th, Kyle Lingerfeld, Devin Smith going to round out the top 10 right now. We're starting lap 63 here at 140. We're getting close to halfway through this race. Take a look at Balliet here. He's now made his way up onto the back of the back bumper of Josh Fox, only about 2 truck lanes back right now, about 0.2 of a second. I think he's going to make quick work of him here as they head down through the trioval, head down into turn number 1. Balliet going to look to the inside here to see if he can take a second spot away, but Fox is actually going to block that off. Balliet back to the outside here. Let's see if he's got a run coming off a 2 down the back straightaway to take that second spot away. And it looks like he's going to do that. He's got to run off a 2. Looking to the inside of Josh Fox. Balliet going to move up into 2nd.
Balliet completes the pass and gets underneath the deuce. Here we are. Hey, what a move. And Balliet, again, we're at a point in this race where, Balliet and Fox, I mean, we're going to start to see these guys. And there it is. Balliet and Fox, we're going to start to see that time delta move further and further away from Fox and up Balliet's alley. As he's now gotten up into 2nd position, he qualified in P6. Right now, our biggest movers of the night are Jonathan Byer and Matthew Byers. Don't get yourself confused. And neither of them is selling ice cream. Their last name is not Bryers. Also confusing.
Now you're making me hungry.
That's what I'm here for.
Talking hot dogs, talking about beer, we're talking about ice cream.
Yeah, those are my 5 favorite food groups.
That's not good for a fat guy. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this race without having to eat something.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't know what you're worried about.
So I'm looking at Ballet's split times here. When he moved up into 2nd around Fox, he was about 4.5 seconds back of Byers. And even though he's got some fresh air now, getting by Fox, he's not making up a lot of ground. He's made up maybe about a 10th here in about a lap and a half. We'll see if he can close the gap to Byers here.
Well, here's the interesting part. We were just talking about this a little bit ago. Let's look over the last 5 laps. This is kind of the stage of the race that we're at. I mean, drivers aren't on top of one another, so we're going to start to look at those trends and the things that are making each driver's race a little bit more special than the last. But Balliet is consistently over the last 5 laps running, 3 out of those last 5 laps better than a 1/10 of a second faster than Byers, with the exception of 65 and 66, where it was almost a 1/10 faster. So you figure 1/10 faster, he's got plenty of time to do it. He could easily chip away at this lead as we approach the halfway point. We're on lap number 69 right here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, Bally's made up about a half a second, like you said. So, I mean, we got a lot of laps left to go here. 72 laps left to go. A couple pit stops going to throw in, and hopefully not a caution here or there. But a lot of stuff still left to happen as we're just about halfway through this. Byers just really comfortable out in front, just kind of out there on a Sunday drive. But you know, if he's got his leaderboard up on his screen, he knows that Ballet has made his way to second, and he knows Ballet is going to be charging. So we'll see if Byers can lay down some laps right here and put some distance on, or if he is going to be the next victim of Ballet. He's coming through this field right now.
Well, you know, for some of these guys now, it's a little bit closer back here for the 56 and the 13. I mean, they're at least fighting one another, but I mean, maybe they're just trying to keep it interesting so they don't fall asleep while they're driving.
Yeah, we got Jonathan Byer, Adam Gardner, and Vincent Cortez. They're 13th, 14th, and 15th. And Gardner takes a look up underneath the 13 of Jonathan Byer. Scooby-Doo going to take over the, the 13th spot as they come down the front straightaway into turn number 1 as we start lap 71. Good side-by-side battles. They head down into the first corner. Byer catching the outside wall there just a little bit, scrubbed off with enough speed. That's going to let Gardner take that spot away from him.
Yeah, Gardner's been out here fighting all night with the 13. I mean, they've just been near each other. And, you know, you see that in a lot of races. You see that in the real world, not only here in the virtual world. But, you know, sometimes there's just drivers that attract one another.
Yeah, when you get in these league races like this, or even in real life, you're always around the guys that run about the same pace. You know, so Gardner and Byer probably ran a lot of races together. They run similar setups, and they're right next to each other all night long. And it just seems like when you get with those kind of guys, you're just kind of a magnet. Every race, every lap, you just kind of seem to be around them. But it looks like they race really clean together too there. But Gardner just able to get around Byer and just kind of pushing forward here to see if he can catch Andrew St. Cure for that second spot, or 12th spot. I saw a 2 in the number and I said second. It's 12.
Going up here to a battle for 5th position, the 75 just blew the doors off of Matthew Setzer's 5 machine as he gets around the nickel, and now the 18 of Ben Park also getting around the 5 of Setzer. So I don't know if Setzer's got himself a problem. I mean, he was last down on lap 49, so not that long ago, as we've now passed the halfway point. But it's either that or just, you know, all of a sudden these guys have decided that they want to make it their business to stick together and try to start cracking deeper into that top 5. Matthew Byers leads the way here in the 94. He's now gapped by 3.8 seconds. And remember, a little while ago he was only gapping by about 4.25 seconds. So, you know, Ballier's back here hitting his marks, running his race. That's the kind of thing that's going to win you checkered flags in this league if you just hit those marks and be consistent.
Yeah, and if you look back again at that move by William Gay, he kind of opened up the door, got up underneath Setzer, and it looked like it kind of got Setzer up out of the groove where he wanted to be, and he not just lost 1 spot, he lost 3 as William Gay, Ben Park, and Devin Smith all got past him, so Setzer falls back to 8th. But like you said, looking back up towards the front, Joshua Ballet now under 4 seconds, so he's picked up almost a full second since he got into second, but not quite gaining it quite as fast as I thought he might.
The 11 just got all kinds of loose. I'm going to take a quick peek here and see what may or may not have happened. Vincent Cortez, driver the 11, just stepped way out of line. We're going to take a quick peek here at the replay, as now Matthew Byers is going to come down pit lane and give the lead away to Joshua Ballier. So maybe he's got something on his mind, but the 11 just gets loose behind the 17 and just dives out of the way.
Does a good job of saving the truck, not causing any more damage than he had to. Yeah, it looks like Byers going to pit right now. He had pitted back on lap, what, 49? Oh, wait.
He had just come in, yeah, on, I believe it was 49. We'll take a quick peek here at the pit strategy. And now he's too far down, so I can't see. But let's just assume so.
Going to drop all the way back to 15th here after coming to pits. And actually, Ballier also coming down to the pit. So, looks like under complete, you know, just flat out green flag runs. That's only about 30 laps on that set of tires. We're going to see probably 2 more stops as we get through this race with 70 laps left to go.
Yeah, actually, he just lost 5 positions. Byers was down on lap 9, then after another 36 laps. That's 45. So, yeah, just a very interesting move there.
See, so, and actually Josh Fox, who was the one that was stayed out longer on that first set of tires, he's also going to come down and take his second stop of the race here. So while we have Byers and Ballet, and looking back to Anthony Hamilton as well, also coming, have made 3 pit stops so far. Josh Fox and Jonathan Byers now coming in for their second, and our leader is now going to be Joshua Reese out there, with William Gay now in second. William Gay made his way back up to where he started at. Started outside the front row, and he's back to second right now.
Taking a look here, Kyle Lingerfeld about 0.2 of a second just behind Matthew Setzer. Now it's a little less than 0.2 of a second. Setzer here looks out from the rear view, and he's just got himself a window full of problems. It's going to be a little bit until he can shake off Lingerfeld as the Davie native. I don't know who Davie is, but who Davie? Is that a thing? Are you too old for that? Are you too young for that?
Oh, Davie? Wasn't that like
Davie.
in the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I probably actually watched that. No, wait 1 minute.
I was
Yeah,
forced
I
to.
probably did.
I had a grandmother with a problem.
Did she like old television shows?
She was old television shows.
So as you were saying, Lingerfeld, Setzer had his hands full with Lingerfeld. Lingerfeld makes his way around and take that 4th spot back. We are really seeing some different pit strategy here play out. So we've had our leaders with Valier and Byers come down and pit about just a few laps ago. Well, the rest of these trucks staying out. Always interesting when you have these long green flag runs like this, just to see the different mindsets of how this is going to play out. When the guys are going to come in to take tires, when they're not, and who is. And that right there was your profound moment of the night.
Hey, everybody needs to have one, as far as I'm concerned.
And our leader, Joshua Reese, now diving down the pit road.
Joshua Reese takes the slow roll down to pit road. 85 laps in the books. We're starting to close in here on that all-important white flag as Reese is going to come down. As we get ready to go into this cycle of green flag pit stops, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel. He's Chris Murphy, and you're watching the Outlaw Sim Series truck race at Kansas Speedway.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Five, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. You're watching the Outlaw Sim Series truck race right here at Kansas Speedway. I want to welcome everybody into the YouTube.com live chat. I want to thank everybody for checking in tonight, making us a part of your evening. Thank you for wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Of course, not only am I here tonight, but we were talking about, as warm as it's been lately here on the East Coast at least, fall is coming, which means football is coming back, so I'm going to encourage everybody to get online right now, go to your app store and download the 105.5 WMGH app and also the 1310 WLSH app, where this fall, at least for 3 weeks in September, yours truly going to step out of the iRacing booth and into the football booth for high school football in Pennsylvania's coal regions.
I'm going to have to download that myself, even though I don't know anything about high school football in the Pennsylvania area.
That's okay. There's nothing really to it. There's just a bunch of guys with a four-syllable name with ski at the end of it. Like Balieski and Rashevsky and Parksky. I'm just going down our top 5. Lingerfeltiski.
Gayski? Is that another one there?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. Well, that's what you do if you're singing on your way down a mountain in the snow.
Didn't miss much during the commercial break. All we missed was everybody cycling through the pit stops, and Byers makes his way back to the point. I'm learning quickly, my friend.
Attaboy. Matthew Byers leads the way with Joshua Ballier, Joshua Reese, Ben Park, and Dan Park, your top 5. Andrew St. Cyr holding things together, just looking from the outside in. But he trails Dan Park and that P5 by 1.9 seconds, and it's not getting much better as now everybody has cycled through 94 laps in the books. We're now less than 50 to go.
Yeah, Matthew Byers now finding his way into some lap traffic as well. And he now, let's see here, who's he putting a lap down there? Like the
it wasn't
05 truck. That was 45. I can't even tell.
The Allen experience checks in. Welcome, race fans. Alan, we've been here for 95 laps. It's a little late for welcome, don't you think?
The Allen experience? You know what? I never thought to call it that, but I think that's freaking perfect.
Look, I have had the Allen experience many times. His wife has had the Allen experience, too. That's why she sends him to the basement. But when it comes to good human beings with not a mean bone in their body, Alan Bergen is the one. One of the greatest human beings on earth. And I'm not just saying that because my mic's hot.
He doesn't sign the checks, does he?
No, but he could at least remember to make sure that we get paid. Hello. John,
I would have to agree with this, but
John
been
was
a lot
up
of fun
in
in here.
Day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was up in Mackinac. That's not where they keep the Mackinac peaches, though. You a Seinfeld guy? No.
Not enough to get any references. I
The
probably
Mackinac
watched
peaches,
them all, but
Jerry. The Mackinac
oh, I remember
peaches,
the Mackinac
Jerry.
peaches. Yeah, I remember that now.
Every time I see John's up in Mackinac, I just want to know if they've got peaches.
And
I never remember to ask. He's always home by the time I think to ask. And I'm not going to have him try to ship me Mackinac peaches because I can just go to the grocery store and get them. But I'd like them like fresh off the tree.
well, you have to send me some if they're that delicious.
I mean,
Yeah,
Kramer seemed to think so.
Matthew Byers had put a lap on Ben Henry in that 9 truck. Ben Henry, for some reason, has pitted 5 times in this race. And he just unlapped himself right there. So Byers still out in front. Ballier only about a second and a half back now. And then it's all the way about 7 seconds back to Reese. So unless we get a caution flag here in the last 40 laps here, this race is going to come down between Byers and Ballier for the win.
Yeah, and, you know, to some degree you think to yourself, oh, I hate to see that, you know, because some of these guys are out here trying so hard, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, hey, you had just as much chance as everybody. I mean, you know, it's an 18-second gap, nearly a full lap, from William Gay up to the leader, Matthew Byers. And Jonathan Byer is kind of next in line here. He's in the crosshairs, and in fact, when he looks out from the rearview mirror, he can see Matthew Byers right behind him.
Yeah, and it's just the way things have shaked out here as we've gone through the couple of pit stops. I mean, Jonathan Byer was up there at the front during that first pit stop. He was all the way up to third at that point on lap 9 when we had that first caution, actually the only caution of the race, when a few of the trucks pitted. So he has fallen all the way back and looking to put a lap down as Matthew Byers and Joshua Ballet just setting a blistering pace right here on the rest of the field. Well, I think you did a really good job of being excited. You had me convinced for sure.
Thank goodness, because I'm always afraid that nobody will be able to tell if I get excited about their sponsor. Speaking of excited about their sponsor, remember the question on the rear tailgate here was what's in the bag, not what's in the box. Do you see why yet? I'm just going to let the camera rotate around the 56 here. You tell me if you see anything that maybe would be in a bag.
Not seeing it. Let me see here.
Let's see if we can find the rear chase cam.
Is it the Scooby snacks?
Okay, we're going to try this a little bit differently. If you look on your YouTube.com live feed, it is very clear now. What would be in the bag?
All right, I'm having to wait for the YouTube to catch up because I'm not seeing your screen at the moment.
You got about an 8-second delay.
All right, so we're going to pause for 8 seconds here, leave everybody in suspense to what's in the bag. They're seeing it. I got it now.
There you go. You know, oddly enough, you also, if you look on the YouTube feed, you also get it the same time everybody else did.
This is true.
So, fun story to tell you. How versed are you in purchasing sports or event tickets online?
Versed enough to know that I don't like to give Ticketmaster any money.
All right, fine. Ticketmaster's fine.
They're not a sponsor, are they?
No, not
Live Nation, Ticketmaster, any of those people?
Not anymore, no.
All right, good.
They just left as soon as you started.
I should have asked that question.
Gardner, Byer, and Henry all down pit road. I guess they want to quick get a splash of fuel and make it to the end before Byers does. They've got something cooking. So, my mom bought tickets to the Phillies for September 13th. They play the. I thought of this because the Kansas City Royals will be in town, and right here we're on the Kansas City side, or I'm sorry, the Kansas State side, whereas Kansas City, where the Royals play, is on the Missouri side. But anyway, I digress. So the Kansas City Royals are coming to Philadelphia. My mom's visiting for the weekend for something. And she said about going to the ballpark. And I said, okay, Mom, that's fine. I'll look up tickets with the intention of finding them, getting them, calling it a day. She calls me the next day or the day after and says, got him, or texts me. Says, I got him. And it's section 324, row 3. Few tickets there, and I said, huh, what seat numbers are there? None. Yeah, they're not listed. Ma, what seat numbers are they? I don't know. What website did you get this off of? I said. Ticketscenter.com. Tickets-center.com.
Ouch.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Googled it. And here comes Byers and Joshua Ballier, nose to tail, coming down pit road. They just went from pretty far spread apart to one after another. Let's go on board with Ballier as he comes down pit road, and then we'll get to the suspenseful conclusion of this ridiculous story.
Yeah, Ballier had actually worked up to about a second behind Byers there right before they pitted. So we are on lap 10. We got it. This has got to be the last pit stop, I'm sure. If we go green from here, they're going to be able to make it to the end.
And Byers is going to get fresh grippers there on the bottom of the 94. He's going to pull off pit road. Does he beat Ballier? Yes, he does. Ballier going to have to get out, and now William Gay comes down, and he slides into his pit box. They're in box number 2. So Joshua Reese going to have the lead for the time being. He hasn't been in since lap 83. So we know he's going to have to come down pit road.
Yeah, William Gay had worked his way all the way up to 4th, too, before that pit stop. So
that's going to put him about 9 seconds north of Devin Smith. Plenty of room there. He's not really worried about that. Devin Smith, though, getting ready to hold off Dan Park in the 3, but now Dan Park, nope, just kidding. He suddenly slowed down, and that's because he went down pit road, and now Dan Park's down pit road. So to quick wrap this up and put a bow on it, I Googled Ticket Center. And before their actual website was the Reddit, and the Reddit was, is Ticket Center a scam? My poor mom, God love her, gets scammed out of a couple $100, a few $100. And, of course, you call the credit card company and say, don't pay this crap. But it's just, here we are, 30 years into online purchasing, and there are still people finding new and incredible ways to hook special individuals in.
Oh, they're just vultures. They're just the most hated people. Just preying on the less I'm not gonna say less educated, but less tech savvy, people just taking advantage of that stuff. I mean, and they're just getting more and more creative with it. So, I mean, I consider myself to be pretty tech savvy, and I've almost fallen for a couple myself. So,
my mom told me not to tell anyone that story, so I didn't tell anyone. I told everyone.
Yes. Well, we only have 7 people on the stream right now, so
I've got 11 concurrent viewers over on the old YouTube. The YouTube. Matthew Byers just laid fast time down at 30.45 seconds. That's blistering. That's, 500th of a second faster than our old fastest time at 30.5?
Yeah, but he's got his hands full with Ballier right now. As Ballier looks to the outside him down the back straightaway. Heading down into turn number 3, Byers is going to hold on to that spot. But this is basically our fight for the lead right here once these pit stops shake out. As the top 4 all still need to pit. So this battle between Byers and Ballier right now is for the race lead.
Matthew Byers here in 5th position, trying to hold off the 7 of Ballier. Now they're going to be those first 2 drivers. They've got to get around Lingerfeld, Setzer, Smith, and Reese. Lingerfeld's going to be the first to get out of the way. That's going to leave Setzer, Smith, and Reese. As Joshua Reese, who last came down on lap 83, he's going to have to come down sooner than what Lingerfeld just did. I mean, that's kind of impressive. And, of course, as I say that, he makes me look like I know what I'm talking about, and he makes the hard left turn down pit road.
Well, that is a very impressive job by Joshua Reese making it look like you know what you're talking about.
Look, it takes a lot, believe me.
I had to get the zinger in there when I could.
Listen, I appreciate that very much. I do. In fact, the only other zinger that we have is the Allen experience. He's down there. He hasn't said anything else other than welcome race fans. I feel like Allen is the guy who holds the banner outside of, like Bristol Motor Speedway that says welcome race fans in case you were thinking you were there for golf. You know what? I can't even say that because Bristol's about to host baseball.
I saw that.
I'm so excited. You have no idea.
Are you?
Yes, absolutely. Just like I was excited, even though that it was annoying to watch racing at the Coliseum. Just being able to put racing at the Coliseum where they had track and field. Jesse Owens, of course, ran a race. Now we had motorsports in the same place that the Dodgers played, that USC plays. I mean, I think it's great when we can repurpose venues for stuff like this, especially when it benefits my happiness.
So here's what I would love to see. I would love to see the Major League Baseball game played at Bristol, and then a week later they play Banana Ball, and see who sells the more tickets.
Oh, it's going to be Banana Ball. Banana Ball is completely out of control. Josh Fox dives down pit road. Oh, Josh Fox is all over pit road, sir.
Catches that inside wall down there. I love that. I love a success story. I love that story with Banana Ball. I love to watch it. It's just fun, but it's really cool to see what they're doing.
Look, they're bringing, although that it may not be traditional baseball, they're bringing different eyes to the sport. They're putting different butts in the seats.
Exactly.
It's not the same, 40,000 old white guys who are holding on for dear life saying that Pete Rose doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame because he gambled on baseball.
I'm almost tempted to go out for the Dad Bod cheerleader squad, but if Banana Ball was a little bit closer, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm all about it. I don't see a problem with it. Matthew Setzer coming down pit road. He's decided to make it a day. Merlin Duran came down on 85 last, but he's off pit cycle.
Devin Smith now with the lead. Started back in 15th. I mean, it's kind of temporary right now. He pitted back on lap 88. Maybe he's just hoping for a caution flag at this point. See how long he can stay out there. But he's got Byers and Bally going to run him down here pretty quickly.
Yeah, Devin Smith is going to be gobbled up quick, fast, and in a hurry. That's for sure. Because he just lost about a second and a half on that last lap alone. But yeah, I think Banana Ball just brings different eyeballs to the basic sport of baseball. Throw the ball, hit the ball. Okay, so the rules are a little bit different. They're not traditional. But I think that giving it a little bit of a twist is what this sport needs. Don't get me wrong. I came out from under my rock screaming hysterically, waving my fist at the sky, saying, how can you put a pitch clock in baseball? Baseball's the sport without a clock. And then I realized it was really nice getting out of the ballpark in 2 hours and 45 minutes instead of 3.5.
Yeah, exactly.
To have challenges takes the authority away from the umpires. We have challenges in every other sport. Why in the hell is baseball special? And you know what? It turns out the umpires are wrong. And you're still not arguing balls and strikes, but don't worry. I saw it in the preseason. It's coming, and my God, it was a thing of beauty to watch these umpires where, I think as far as sports officials go, baseball umpires and NASCAR officials are the most irritating in all of professional sports. And I have reasons.
I can't disagree with you on that one. I mean, look, they needed the instant replay. They needed the challenges. I mean, you go back. I can't remember who the pitcher was. Had a perfect game taken away because an umpire made a bad call.
That was Armando Galarraga, and it was Jim Joyce who took it away from him.
Jim Joyce, exactly. Yep, I remember that now. Yeah, and Joyce, you could see even once he got to look at it again, how bad Joyce felt about that. I mean, if we'd had a replay back then, that would have been corrected.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Joyce knew that from the minute that he made the call, he knew. And if you look at the rule book, baseball umpires have always had the ability to reverse a call. They can call an umpires conference and they can talk about it. But Joyce chose not to. Even though that everybody at home and everybody in the ballpark and every umpire on that field saw that that call was wrong, except for Jim, he chose to stick with the call because he didn't want to change the precedent of can umpires make changes, because they hadn't changed in 150 years at that point. When baseball came around and said, yeah, maybe instant replay, there were a bunch of people that came out screaming, umpires don't change calls. No, umpires aren't changing the calls. New York will change the calls. And it's made the sport better. It's also made those umpires, if you look at not that I have any weird habits of following obscure things in sports, but if you follow the Major League umpires' camps and training and training programs, they're being trained to not get angry when they miss a call. They don't take it out on the next guy. Hey, listen, you blew it. Things happen. If you get a few in a row, like Angel Hernandez last year, bad things are going to happen, and you're eventually going to be forced into retirement. But baseball umpires to me are the most best dressed in all of sports. I love the blazer. When we get that chill in the autumn air and the umpire gets the blazer on, I'm a happy camper. But the most irritating of all sports officials are NASCAR officials. And it's not because, it's not because of what they wear, even though they do look like walking sperm. It's because they stand there and you're watching a guy and, he had his toe over the wall. That's not an advantage. He was trying to get back over.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have their last man back over before the driver came out. Before the driver left the pit box. So what? Would they find Dale Earnhardt for climbing out of the window net and wiping the windshield down at Richmond in today's NASCAR?
Oh, they'd have parked him.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's when racing was cool. And they didn't have officials down there. They were showing, I love watching old races, and there's some guy down in the pit box. You can't see what I'm doing. But there's some guy down in the pit box holding a chalkboard up to the driver on the racetrack saying 3, erase it, 2, to give that driver his clue of when he's got to come in. We're 12 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening. As the night winds down, we want to make sure that you subscribe to Sim Racing Media and, of course, find us everywhere we are over on Facebook and soon to be on the TikTok.
Yeah, we break into the middle of the Murphy podcast talking about baseball and officials. Back to the race with about just almost 10 laps left to go. I've been watching this a little bit here.
Regal and Murphy have been here all night long.
And Byers and Ballier had to contend. Smith had to pit now, so Byers and Ballier back to the point. They've had to contend with the faster lap trucks. Lingerfelt and the 3 truck of Dan Park kind of all over him, so they've had to not only trying to battle with each other, but these lap trucks trying to unlap themselves. Lingerfelt was able to find a way around on newer tires and just kind of run away from this group, so he got himself back on the lead lap. Because we only have 8 trucks on the lead lap right now.
And even though that he's down significantly here, 11 laps for Josh Fox. Bad things obviously happened for him. But Josh Fox just laid fast time down at 30.37. That's our pole setter.
He must have had a couple of black flags, I'm guessing, speeding in the pits. We saw him one time come in and kind of hit the inside wall, so I'm guessing that was a penalty.
Yeah, he had a bad pit entry, and then he had to come back down, and I'm guessing that there was a little bit of frustration there. But he is now down 11 positions. I'm sorry, 11 laps.
9 laps left to go.
Matthew Byers, the race leader. And all of a sudden, with Byers here now, Byers came down on 108. Ballier evenly matched with Joshua Reese in the 1, having come down on 115. So those those tires 7 laps newer. And all of a sudden, Byers having to contain Ballier behind him. As we look out from the rearview mirror of Matthew Byers out of Mississippi, he looks back and can see Joshua Ballier just creeping in on him, and this is going to get real scary real fast. We're going to hop back here to Joshua Reese from Mount Juliet, who's just watching all of this unfold in front of him, with Ballier here getting the rifle out and putting the Lowe's number 94 Chevrolet Silverado in his crosshairs.
Yeah, looking at that battle with Byers and Ballier, Byers is about the most separation he's had about in the last 10 laps. Eyeball test puts it at about 7 to 8 truck lengths right now. Ballier kind of holding on for a late race charge, or Byers going to strong enough to keep him at bay back there. And at the same time, he's got that lap truck of Dan Park just kind of all over the back bumper, that 7 truck of Ballier. And, hopefully, I mean, it's going to kind of take your focus away a little bit if you're looking up in the mirror and you see that lap truck behind you. But can you maybe give him a little bit of a push? Can Park be in there, actually be an advantage to Ballier as we get down to the end?
Joshua Ballier about a half second behind Matthew Byers. Let's look here and see if we can maybe glean anything from lap time history. I'm sorry, that should be this one. Ballier still consistently running slower laps than Byers, so he's not going to be able to make that pass with lap times like this. 700th of a second slower, 900th, nearly a 10th of a second slower on 133. Time's running out with now 5 laps to go.
Yeah, it doesn't. Right now, it does not look like Ballier has the pace to make up this ground right now. Does he have anything left in the tank? As we have 4 laps left to go across the stripe, heading down into turn number 1. The 94 truck out in front, comfortable lead right now. It just looks like right now, if Byers doesn't make any mistakes, this is his race.
Yeah, Byers at this point, I mean, barring anything catastrophic, I think he's going to be just fine. And I mean, Ballier has to hold off Reese here, and Reese is running a consistently faster lap too. So by the end of this, we're going to see Joshua Reese getting around Ballier.
How far is he back right now? About 7-8 seconds back to Reese. I'm not quite sure if he's going to make the ground up. That truck right behind Ballier is the lap truck of Dan Park.
Oh, I had that all kinds of screwed up, huh? Look at that.
I was trying to kind of be polite.
It's fine.
What, being polite?
Nah, it's yeah, kind of. 3 laps to go, and as he comes across the line, Matthew Byers gets everybody to put their popsicle sticks in the air. We're 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Ballier just does not have the lap times here. Does not have the pace, the speed, whatever you want to call it, to make up any ground on Byers right now as they head down the back straightaway. Just a lap and a half left to go. Just about 2.5 miles left to go for Matthew Byers to pick up the win here at Kansas with the Outlaw Sim Series.
As he comes out of turn number 4 and has the man in the stand with the white flag in his hand, the popsicle sticks go down, the white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Matthew Byers crawling out from 10th position and working his way through this field, playing the right pit strategy, has taken over the lead with an 0.8 of a second gap over Joshua Ballier, who now is fading faster than a memory of somebody suffering from Alzheimer's, as it's going to be Byers, Ballier, and Reese. And as he comes out of turn 4, Barney gets the checkered flag out. Matthew Byers is going to win it here at Kansas Speedway, and he'll be followed by Joshua Ballier. And just a few moments after that, going to be Joshua Reese as he comes across the field. Ben Park, Andrew St. Cour, Devin Smith, William Gay, Kyle Lingerfeld, Adam Gardner, and Jonathan Byer going to be your top 10.
Just a great job of managing the racetrack, managing the truck, managing the pit stops there by Matthew Byers. Just consistent all race long. Found his way to the front early after that first pit stop around lap number 9 and just outpaced this field. Great run there from Byers. The one truck I was really surprised it was William Gay. We saw him charge all the way up to 4th at one point, but just not able to put anything together late there in the race, and ends up losing 5 spots from his outside front row starting spot all the way back to 7th.
Matthew Byers parking it right here on the start-finish line at Kansas Speedway. We're going to see where he may or may not be. Looking for Matthew Byers to pop on in. We've got Reese and Ballier.
I guess not everybody wants to talk to the world famous Dave Regal.
Can you imagine that? Even I talk to
No,
myself.
If I were you, I'd talk to myself. You just stand in the mirror and just have a conversation, I would assume, at this point.
There he is. Here's Matthew Byers. And I believe you have him with you now, Chris Murphy.
Matthew, welcome to the booth. Chris Murphy and Dave Regal here with you from Sim Racing Media. Hey, man, just a great run out there today. Looks like you pitted at the perfect time throughout this field. Did you expect this race to go this long under green flag?
I really did not, because how much on throttle time there was. Everyone was so close to each other. I really thought there'd be more cautions. I kind of gambled pitting so early because we had so many sets of tires. It worked out though.
Yeah, great run. Did you, late there in the race, it was you and Ballet going back and forth. You could see him back here in the mirror. Did you think you had enough to hold him off there at the end? Because, Joshua has won the last 2 races.
Yeah, I knew he'd be tough because I knew I had clean air to my advantage. But so I knew as long as I didn't make a mistake, I should be okay. But he's tough to compete against. He's a good racer. So I knew that the only way I could beat him was not to beat myself, and luckily I didn't.
So most tracks with these trucks, that dirty air is just really upsetting on the truck. What was it doing to you here today when you got up behind another truck?
I mean, it would just be so tight. Even like when a lap car passing you right in front of you, the front end would just take off on it. You have to really lift hard, and you feel the right front grinding. So really, the biggest obstacle was navigating around lap traffic and not burning up your tires too much. But yeah, when you're in a tight field like this, the truck drives completely different once you get the lead. Once I got the lead early, the truck was so much faster.
Hey, you looked really good out there in that clean air out front. Congratulations on a great race today, Matthew. Before we let you go, do you have anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, I'd like to thank my family for watching and you guys for the broadcast. And also, I want to thank the league for a great race. I mean, luckily, we didn't have any cautions at the end to mess things up. It was a great race. I'm really happy about how it went.
Well, congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys in the booth. Y'all do a great job.
That, of course, the voice of Matthew Byers, our race winner. Next up on the podium, and I think I've got him now, Joshua Ballier, driver of the number 7 Chevrolet Silverado. Hey, Josh, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, man. You finished second. You were out here with a really dominant truck for most of the night, but, I mean, Byers just able to gap you like crazy here toward the end. Did you think you could have anything for him, or was this just, too little too late?
My shot was I was trying to get up close to him for the final pit, which I did get close to him, but my only attempt was really to pass him in pits because I'm just with the damage that on lap 8. I didn't look back at the wreck. It was probably my fault, but the damage that I got there, I was just slow on the straights. And how this is, like, you have to build up a good enough run and be like good side by side on the straightaways to actually do anything. So I was never able to build up momentum to make a run. So I was really trying to see if I could jump him on that pit. I just wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys that were out here, with the pit cycles that they were running, I mean, I really thought we're out here playing that game. I mean, just 2 cautions on the entire night. I mean, something really impressive that we don't actually, it was just 1 caution if I remember correctly. But, very limited number of cautions throughout the night. I mean, that's something that we don't get to see very often, anywhere on iRacing, much less, here in this league. Usually something, it's just 2 that were for the evening. But, now as we get ready to turn our attention to the next race, what are you thinking as we head deeper into the season?
Looking forward to it. What's next is Bristol Dirt. This should be fun because you don't really get to race on dirt anymore. And now looking forward to Michigan. I don't like Michigan, but most of the season from here on out, I like. So hopefully, have some good runs and don't make stupid mistakes like I did tonight.
Yeah, stupid mistakes can always cost you. But listen, man, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done tonight on the 7 machine?
Just my team, JB, Ben, and Vinny, who came out tonight to run around on a controller and act like a crackhead. But and you guys for broadcasting, and Adam.
All right, my friend, congratulations on the P2 finish. We'll see you next week.
Yee.
That the voice of Joshua Ballier, and last but certainly not least, I believe you have him with you now, Chris, is Joshua Reese.
Joshua Reese, hey buddy, good to see you. Chris Murphy and Dave Regal here in the booth of Sim Racing Media. Great run there in third. You're kind of about 9 seconds back of the top 2. You think, is there anything you could have done different? You think to put yourself a little closer up towards the top spot tonight?
I mean, it's always the what ifs, right? I'm gonna look back at that first pit stop. Like 10 laps in, I didn't take any tires on that stop, thinking, maybe we'll get a caution-filled race and it'll help us there at the end to maybe have an advantage on a set. But no, we ended up going green from then on, and then I just lost way too much time on that first run. By the time we'd all got like separated out and whatnot, and I got my track position back, I was just so far behind. There's nothing I could have done, honestly.
Yeah, you pitted a little bit later back on lap. The 2 leaders pitted on lap 108. You came in about 115 of those 7-lap newer tires. Thought you might have a chance to run them down there at the end. Did you think you could close up that gap with a few laps left to go?
If I would have kept making the intervals up for what it was early, I was making like a second a lap early in that run, but I knew it was going to be a second there for a minute, and then it would slowly trickle down to a couple tenths and then a tenth or so. And yeah, there's just nothing I could have done. I mean, it was good to go out there and feel very fast on the very fresh tires, but didn't really help play out anything.
Oh, it looks like we're about halfway through the season here for season 7. Was it next race coming up is Bristol Dirt? What do you how do you feel about that? A little bit different.
Yeah, very out of my style. We're just going to go in there, see what we can do. Hopefully we just put together a solid run. You never know with dirt races. So, we're just going to go in there, probably not to win, just to try to put together a top 10 run, maybe get a top 5, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, great run tonight, getting yourself up onto the podium. Before we let you go, do you have anybody you'd like to thank?
You guys for broadcasting at Sim Racing Media every week. Also, Josh Fox Motorsports, Josh, Dan, Aiden. Always good working with them. That's really it.
Well, appreciate you being here, and good luck the rest of the season. At
Mm-hmm.
least next
Yes,
week.
sir. Oh, yeah. You have a good one.
You too.
Thank you, Josh. As always, that the voice of the great Joshua Reese, driver of the number 1 machine. 3 Chevrolets atop the pile tonight. As we take a look here at our final results, I was impressed to see that many bow ties up on top. But before we get out of here, let's take one final look at our results. Matthew Byers brings home the checkered flag. Joshua Ballier comes home in second with Joshua Reese in third. Ben Park and Andrew St. Cyr round out your top 5 with Devin Smith, William Gay, Kyle Lingerfeld, Adam Gardner, and Jonathan Byer making up the rest of your top 10. Jeremiah Stutzman and Dan Park come home in 11th and 12th with Matthew Setzer, Merlin Duran, and Aiden Giordano 13th through 15th. Josh Fox comes home in 16th with Ben Henry, Anthony Hamilton, Vincent Cortez, Brandon Combs, Sheldon Swindell, Joshua McClune, and Forrest Hamilton Jr. after just 10 laps deciding he wanted to get to the beer stand before everybody else, finishes in 23rd. So, Chris, another great race tonight here in this league, and I can't wait to go dirt racing next week.
Yeah, only my 3rd race with the Outlaw Sim Series, but out of all the leagues that we covered, you can just see the respect these guys have for each other on the racetrack. One little mistake earlier, as Bally mentioned there in the interview, but it's great racing all the way throughout. Just really competitive. Top 2 kind of got away from everybody else, but if you look back from about third back to about 10th, they were all just right there with each other. So, just a pleasure being with you again, Dave. Had a lot of fun tonight, and hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, I always look forward to the next time you and I get to work back together once again. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my partner and broadcaster extraordinaire, Mr. Chris Murphy, we want to thank you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.